Hey guys, and welcome back to another collection video. I'm going to be doing my PS1 and all my handheld games, and a little bit of background on some of my handheld games. Uh, I actually have a lot more PSP and like some DS games and stuff like that. But my half brother, before he went to jail, uh, had his best friend, who I did not like really much, but I tolerated him. He was, I'm not going to get into it, but the dude had some problems. Uh, anyway, I tolerated him because he was my half brother's best friend. So, but he's always had some problems like that. But like he wrecked my car. I let him borrow my car and he wrecked it. But one time I went to work and I came back home and he was staying at the house for a couple of days. He was gone, and I looked in the room I was in, and like my DS, my PSP, and a bunch of like games that were completely stolen from there. So, and I never got them recovered. So I lost my PSP with like about 8 games. I only managed to keep a couple of them, and my DS had a DSi was gone. Was on with a couple of games like Final Fantasy 3 DS was gone, and a couple of things, and I haven't collected them back yet. So there was a few games I'm missing, and I'm missing like about maybe 6. Cause I had Crisis Core, I had Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, and a couple of oddity games like that, but they're gone now. So my collections are not really nearly as big. And my PSP PS1 collection, again, uh, storage unit. So make me something to drink real quick. Something caught in my throat. Yeah, that's better. All right. Anyway, I'm going to start off with GBA. GBA, like I said, I never really had a GBA, so my collection's quite small. And the first one we have is Banjo Kazooie Grunty's Revenge. And takes place between Banjo Kazooie and Banjo Tooie. It's like a little side game uh, that happens with Grunty, even though she's trapped under a rock. Spoiler for if you haven't played Banjo Kazooie. But it's just a continuation of the story that takes place between Banjo Kazooie and Banjo Tooie. Then we have, well, I tried it one time. There was a online service called Retro Game Treasures, where you can like order like a retro game box, and it comes with retro games, and you get to choose which game systems you want it for and stuff like that. But this is one of them I got from the retro game box. It was called. It's made by EA. It's called Island Extreme Stunts. Don't know really much about the game because I've never played it, but there it is. Then we have oh, I forgot one of my games over here because it blended in with the GBA because the GBA is blue. This game's blue with Pokemon Sapphire. I wasn't a huge fan of Pokemon back in the day. I mean, up until recently, I only played like first gen, but then I started going through some of the other gens, got through Gold, Silver, so, and I of course got through Scarlet and Violet and stuff like that. But yeah, it's third gen. I got Sapphire. Then we have Super Mario World, Super Mario Advance 2. It's Super Mario World for the Game Boy Advance. Great game. It's that. Then we have Yoshi's Island, Super Mario Advance 3. It's Yoshi's Island for the GBA. So. Then we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Battle Nexus. So, yeah. It's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. Beat 'em up. So like that. It's fun. And that's it for the GBA. I'm going to do the PSP because, again, only have 2 games because I told you the story at the beginning. The only 2 games I have, first one's made by Atari, is Dungeons and Dragons Tactics, I think it's like a rogue. No, it's actually a story to it, but it's kind of cool. But I really haven't played much on it. And the other one is the Final Fantasy, original Final Fantasy 20th Anniversary Edition. And it's the original Final Fantasy, but with upgrades and better graphics, better everything. So, but it's the original Final Fantasy. Like I said, for the PSP, I had Crisis Core, Final Fantasy 7. I had Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. There's a few other games, but again, they were all stolen. Never got them recovered. So, all right, now we'll hit DS. DS. Again, one of the games I had for DS was Final Fantasy 3 DS, but again, I don't have it anymore because, again, it was stolen. So, but anyway, first one is made by Arxis, and it's 999, 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. Graphic novel, visual novel style, kind of like Danganronpa and Phoenix Wright, but it's got a really bit of a dark story. You get trapped in a boat, and you have to find your way out by finding the door number 9. And there's a bunch of endings. I think that one has like 8 to 12 endings, and it depends which path you take, depends what choices you make, affects which ending you get in the game. And it's really fun, and that was only intended to be a standalone game, but it got so popular they did make a sequel, 2 sequels in fact. So, but 9 hours, you got like 9 hours to finish the game to get out. 9 persons is 9 people. There are 9 doors. You have to find the door number 9. And I said there's dark secrets and all kinds of twists and turns. Anyway, this one is CSI Dark Motives. Never played it, but it was my friend who committed suicide a few years back. It was his, so I just grabbed it, added it to my collection. Never really played it, so I'm not really sure exactly what kind of game this is. So, same thing with this one. Puzzle Day Harvest Moon. I'm assuming it's a puzzle game. Oh, and also in here too is Drawing a Life, which I have played. You draw whatever you want to draw, and it comes to life. So it's cool. But then we have one of the original release launch games for the DS to give you an idea what the DS is all about. Is Feel the Magic XYXX. Yeah. It's a bunch of mini games. Use the stylus for a lot of stuff. It was basically just kind of like a glorified thing to tell you what the DS was capable of when it first came out and stuff like that. Use a stylus, bunch of mini games. It actually has a story of trying to impress a girl, stuff like that. So then a lot of people may not know this. I mean, if you're a Final Fantasy fan, you may know this, but if you're not, all kind of stuff, you may know this, all kind of stuff. Final Fantasy 12 had a sequel, and it's Final Fantasy 12 Reverent Wings. Takes place a couple years after Final Fantasy 12. You play as Vaughn and Pinello, and now it's a sky pirate, and you find like a mysterious floating island up in there, and there's a bunch of secrets to uncover with the floating island. So it's fun. It's tactical. You use a stylus to move your army around. It's like a tactical game, so it's kind of cool. Then we have Kingdom Hearts 358 Days Over 2, which takes place. It's like a midquel. Takes place between Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2, Chain of Memories, where you play as Roxas, and from the time he gets created to the time he leaves the organization, and he heads to Twilight Town in Kingdom Hearts 2. Basically, his days in everyday life of with him in the Organization 13, but then there's stuff that uncovers, and there's a mysterious 14th member named Shion, and what's around her. So basically, it's a cool game. Then we have one of my least favorite Kingdom Hearts games, just because it's kind of like a rehash of the original Kingdom Hearts, but it takes place after Kingdom Hearts 2. But it's all virtual world. You play as a data computer, but it's Kingdom Hearts Recoded. Basically, Jimmy's journal finds a message that wasn't supposed to be in there, and you go digitally inside, and there's bugs on the side of it, but it's basically kind of like a rehash of the first Kingdom Hearts. There's some more storyline elements too, but basically you visit the same worlds and find out what's going on with the bugs and find out what's hit. It's an okay game, but I mean it's basically kind of like a rehash. So, and the final game I have for my DS is The Legend of Zelda: Phantom Hourglass. I used to have Spirit Tracks, but I only have Phantom Hourglass. DS, use a stylus for everything. Use it for rolling, attacking, everything like that. It takes place immediately after Wind Waker, when you go around and try to find a new Hyrule, and you get stuck on a ghost ship, and you have to and then find out what's going on with all that. So, yeah, that's it for DS. Now we move on to 3DS, and again for the 3DS, I'm missing a couple of games, but not really too much. First one I have, Bravely Default. Very, very fun turn-based RPG made by Square Enix. Uh, made what has like a little bit of a twist to it. Called you get a battle system has a little bit of twist to it. You get a brave and default system. It's like that, and getting different job classes. So it's kind of like a spin-off of Final Fantasy almost, but it's fun. Then the sequel that came out, quasi sequel. It's not a sequel to Bravely Default, but it's still kind of like a sequel. Because they do have a sequel for Bravely Default 2 on the Switch. This is Bravely Second Endlayer. More of the same, but just with different characters. A little bit, seeing the same themes though, job classes, and stuff like that. But it's a bunch of the same thing. It's kind of got a cool battle system again, and it's much of the same thing. It's harder, but again, it's more of the same. So then we have Kid Icarus Uprising. It's fun. I love Kid Icarus. As you see, I've got Kid Icarus and Myths and Monsters on my channel. I want to do this one, but I don't know how exactly I'm going to do it because I don't have like a 3DS capture card. I guess I could try to emulate it, but I don't know how I'm going to emulate it. But I do want to do this one. It's fun. It's got two different battle modes, gameplay modes. Where one of you flying around shooting enemies, kind of like a rail shoot, and the other one you're on the ground, kind of like shoot them kind of thing. It's really fun. The story's fun. Breaks the fourth wall a lot. It's really witty, and I like this game. So then we have Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. This is like the game that leads up to Kingdom Hearts 3. Besides 0.2, Birth by Sleep 0.2, but you get to play with they're taking the Mark of Mastery exam to become Keyblade Masters, and you have to go to Sleeping Worlds, and you get these things called Dream Eaters that you either fight or you can have as allies. It's fun. The story all builds up to Kingdom Hearts 3, but it's fun. Then we have the 3D version of my favorite Zelda game. Or, I mean, there's already a 3D version, but kind of like a remaster kind of stuff. The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D, which is my favorite Zelda game. Majora's Mask, yes. It's basically, they tighten it up a little bit and add a lot of, like, quality of life things, like, the timer and a bunch of stuff been fixed up, but it's still Majora's Mask, so. Then we have Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, the second Luigi's Mansion game, which is coming to the Switch. I think it's like a remastered version coming to the Switch, which is cool. It's Luigi's Mansion, but instead of taking place in one mansion, it takes place in multiple mansions, but you're still going around busting up ghosts and trying to see what's going on, save Mario and stuff like that. So it's still Luigi's Mansion, but it takes place in multiple mansions. Then we have another RPG series that I really like. It's not really talked about as much as like maybe Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, Dragon Warrior, but I really like this series too. And I got I don't have all the games, but I got a bunch of them. But it's Tales of the Abyss, the Tales series. This is, I think, my third favorite Tales game because I just really like the story. The main character is like cocky and stuff like that. But yeah, uh, again, I want to do this one eventually, but I don't know how I'm going to do it. But the only two I think I like better than this one is Tales of Vesperia and Tales of Symphonia. So then we have Theater Rhythm Final Fantasy. It's It's like a Final Fantasy rhythm based game. You play the songs, you tap, or you slide, or you go up and down. Basically, it's kind of like a rhythm based game with all the Final Fantasy songs, and you fight monsters and unlock more songs and stuff like that. So basically, it's a Final Fantasy music rhythm game. And believe it or not, it has a sequel, which I have. Theater of the Final Fantasy Curtain Call. More the same, more songs, more games, more stuff like that. You battle monsters, play music, and there's storylines to it too. So I mean, so. And the final game I have for the 3DS is actually the sequel to 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors, called Zero Escape Virtue's Last Reward. Again, this game wasn't really supposed to exist to begin with. It was 9 was only supposed to be like a standalone game, but due to the popularity of it, he was kind of forced into making a sequel, which is this. And then they actually made one more, which I don't have, called Zero Time Dilemma. But more to say.